We will fix that. Hey, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, boy. Do we have a lot to cover today. You know, what we're in right now, we are about to enter one of the most important periods any of us have ever lived through in this country. And what I mean by that is this new MAGA era that we are in is an era that really has not been experienced by anyone alive. This is a major revolutionary period that we're in. We have, with President Trump, completely defeated the political establishment, which was thought to have been an impossible task to accomplish. So we're going into 2025 with really a new political party. I know we're still called the Republican Party, but we're MAGA. And if you go through the histories of the two parties, the Republican and the Democrat Party, I don't think there has ever been a transformation at this level before. Maybe in the history of both parties from their very beginning. Because regardless of what the Democrats tell you, they're the same party they were in 1860. Okay? Don't let them tell you any different. So we're going into 2025 with a new political party. President Trump has taken over the Republican Party. He is in the beginning stages of reshaping it. Yes, we've got the RNC. You know, having control of the RNC is more important than people realize, because the RNC controls all the money in the congressional races in both houses, governor's races, and all of that. We control all of that. And what controls everything is the political party's money. So we've got that control. We have in place MAGA people in strategic locations in both houses of Congress. That will grow as time goes on. We're going to have more MAGA governors and everything else. So what's going on here with President Trump, he's not only forming a new Republican Party, he's rebranding the Republican Party into this MAGA party, but President Trump is setting up a legacy with the Republican Party under MAGA control to be the new force in this country for the next 50 to 100 years of reshaping this country. Draining the swamp isn't something that can be done in one or two presidents, even with 2 terms. The swamp is so deep and goes back so far in this country, it could take 100 years to fully drain the swamp. It really could. You know, these endless fake wars. One of the things I'm going to talk about when on the next stream today is the passing of Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter isn't just the worst president, he's been the most destructive president of the last 100 years in so many ways. I'm going to break that down. And this deep state, this political state that has been controlling this country, that's been fighting so hard against President Trump, they've been defeated with the election of Trump, but we've got to set the stage, okay? We've got to set the stage to keep MAGA in control. Give you an example. All this debate over the weekend over the H-1B visas. I saw on X yesterday a clip or two of Ron DeSantis talking against the H-1B visas, talking about the abuses of them. So this guy, Ron DeSantis, who is term limited out of the governorship, who betrayed Trump, betrayed MAGA, lied, and challenged President Trump in the primary, caused a lot of problems, was trying to team up with Nikki Haley. Even though he's gone through this humiliating defeat, he's still trying to wiggle his way in to position himself to run for president, I guess against J.D. Vance in the primaries in 4 years. That's what it seemed like to me. So these Republican establishment people, the Bush Republicans, the Cheney Republicans, the Romney, the Paul Ryan Republicans, the Mitch McConnell Republicans, they may have been defeated, but like with the Democrats who just suffered a massive defeat in this election, they're regrouping, okay? So just because they seem to be lying low right now, believe me, they haven't said to themselves, well, Trump won, that's it, it's over for us. No, they're regrouping to strategize. And we've got to be very, very careful in this second Trump term. We've got 2 elections during Trump's final term here, right? The midterms and then the presidential elections. And we've got to be very, very careful that we don't let any of these old Bush Republican establishment rhinos weasel their way back in. They're out right now. So some of them may try to trick us and worm their way back in. We got to be very careful with this. 2025 is the most important political year that we've ever experienced, anyone alive has ever experienced. There's no doubt about it, because President Trump has to do all these things, all that's on his agenda, but at the same time, he's got to establish MAGA as the future of the Republican Party, where MAGA and Republicans are, viewed as one, not MAGA Republicans and Rhino Republican establishment people. You understand what I mean by that? Very, very important. That's why I talk so much about the importance of not just, for MAGA people to follow Trump's lead, because Trump is, these particular issues that Trump's dealing with, and he's dealing with a lot of big and controversial issues that he's going to be tackling. It's more than just those issues. It's about establishing MAGA as the future of the Republican Party and the final defeat of these Rhino Republican holdouts. It's so important, because if these Rhino Republican establishment, Paul Ryan type Republicans make their way back in the next midterms or the next presidential election, we're really in a deficit. I mean, we could come back and overcome it, but it really is I think one of our primary focuses is to make sure those Rhino Republican establishment people don't come in. So 2025 is a big year. And another thing, Trump, everything Trump is going to do, okay, is big, bold, controversial, nothing's vanilla, and the media and the Democrats and the Never-Trumpers are going to fight to stop him at every turn. And he needs us behind him. As an example, he is going to... What I'm going to talk about on the next stream, I'm not going to get into the details of it now, I'll just give you like the overview. If you see that that video is already up, it has Trump and Jimmy Carter on it. The worst and the best. Jimmy Carter the worst, President Trump the best. Jimmy Carter, I remember him being president, vaguely. I'm 53, and I can vaguely remember him being the president, vaguely. I remember it, but not clearly. I was a little kid. Most Americans were born after Jimmy Carter left office. I mean, they have no recollection of Jimmy Carter. They don't know the destructiveness of Jimmy Carter in his one term. 9/11 happened because of Jimmy Carter, okay? That's a fact. 9/11 happened because of Jimmy Carter. I'll get into all of that later on. But because he was president before most Americans were alive, when somebody even my age can barely remember Jimmy Carter being president, you can see already how Jimmy Carter is... the Never-Trumpers, the Democrats, the fake news media are doing this compare and contrast between Jimmy Carter and Donald Trump, and even Biden already. Reporter set up question, what could President Trump learn from Jimmy Carter? And Biden says dignity, or was it decent, whatever. So Jimmy Carter is going to be put on this pedestal of greatness. Can you imagine? Worst president ever before Biden, who's now the worst president. But they're putting Jimmy Carter up on this pedestal of purity and greatness right now, and they're going to use that to trash Trump. And since most people in this country were born long after Jimmy Carter was president, they don't know about Jimmy Carter, so he can be portrayed in any light these never-Trumpers want to portray him in. And they're using this to tarnish President Trump before he even comes into office. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. 2025 is the year of MAGA. And, President Trump is coming in with a big mandate. His positions are very, very popular. But he's going to be moving fast because, President Trump is a student of history. And he knows that when a president comes into office, those first 3 or 4 months are when they're the most popular. That's where the first 100 days came in. That's why every time there's a presidential election, they talk about the first 100 days. That first 100 days really started with FDR. When Franklin Roosevelt became president, the New Deal, he got most of the New Deal done in the first 100 days. And that's where this 100, and then after that, there were problems. So that's where this 100 days came in. So a lot of these big, bold moves President Trump is going to make, the wall, the deportations, the pardons of the J6ers, ending the war against Israel, the Ukraine, Russia, all these. He's going to do some of the biggest things in the first 100 days because he knows that after that first 100 days, the honeymoon will start to be over. So far as like the media, and when they start to work to turn the country against you. So he's going to be doing a lot of things. That's, the first half of 2025 is going to be insanely exciting with everything Trump's going to do. And he needs us to stand next to him through every step of this because it is going to be some really, really things that you and I will support and be excited about, but he's going to face opposition like he's never faced it. Schumer got all excited last week and blurted out what they're doing. They just got over 200 judges confirmed that Biden appointed, federal judges. They already have done their judge shopping, okay? The Democrats. They've done their judge shopping. So every time President Trump signs an executive order or legislation is passed during our Republican Congress and signed by Trump, they're going to judge shop it to some federal liberal activist judge and get a federal judge to order Trump to stop it. Now, Trump's chief executive president of the United States. Some federal judge isn't running the country. So the question will be, will Trump do what those judges say, or will he continue doing what it is he ordered, or the order he signed, or the legislation, until the Supreme Court weighs in? And I don't think he's going to let these federal judges that they're judge shopping to, these liberal activist judges, stop him from doing anything. I think he's going to go full steam ahead. He's got so much freedom because he doesn't have to worry about another election. And I know, people are getting impatient. When I say people, I'm talking about MAGA because, this president-elect period is going by so slow, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. Every time there's an election, we have this president-elect period. But this one, we're all so excited to get Trump back in there that it seems to be going by so slow. Doesn't it? It does. So people are itching to get Trump back in there. And a lot of people, I think, are like losing patience. Well, why isn't Trump doing this? Why isn't he doing that? He doesn't have the office yet. So, Trump is very limited on what he can do right now. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, please do me a favor and like the video. That helps a lot. The next stream, I'll be taking live calls. Oh, I know it's tough. I mean, we're 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away. And President Trump, the inauguration is at noon. So when the inauguration is over, he's going to start signing executive orders immediately. I betcha President Trump signs executive orders right there on the Capitol steps after he takes the oath of office. You look at, you see what the Democrats are doing now because President Carter died. He'll be lying in state. So the Democrats still control Washington, right? Because Biden's president. So what's going to happen? They're setting up. They're trying to have the Jimmy Carter funeral interfere with Trump's inauguration. The flags in D.C. on Inauguration Day will be flying at half staff. They may still have him lying in state in 3 weeks. You never know with these people. The Carter family, they're not nice people. They're not. I mean, look what they did, Here you had President Carter in hospice for over a year. They hauled him out by ambulance to go vote for Kamala Harris. Do you really think Jimmy Carter insisted on them taking him out on a stretcher on television into an ambulance to go and vote for Kamala Harris? I don't think so. If he had anything on his mind, which he may not have had, we don't know what kind of state he was in. That's just some big political stunt that the Carter family did. So the Carter family are, these first families. Amy Carter and all of them have been out of the mix for so long. They had Rosalind Carter's funeral, but that's not the president. So a lot of times when these presidents die years later, their families that have been out of the mix for years or decades, this is their last big hurrah, right? I remember when President Reagan died, Ron Reagan Jr., who was just a liberal nut. He was grandstanding the whole time. They get to fly. President Carter will lie in state as he should, in Washington, and then the Carter family will get to fly on Air Force One with President Carter's casket back to Georgia for the big funeral. They're going to try to make this, the media, the Democrats, the Never Trumpers, the month of Jimmy Carter, to try to downplay Trump's inauguration. Let me tell you, if they think they're going to outmaneuver Trump with media, they're out of their minds. They don't understand. Trump is a master of driving media narratives. That may be one of his biggest talents. He's already said nice things about Jimmy Carter for the first time. And he will take their pathetic, whatever it is they're trying to do, and turn it into his advantage, I promise you. That's what President Trump does. No matter how much they go after Trump, they just don't seem to get it, do they? They just never understand quite how he works. But they're going to try to make this the month of Jimmy Carter. We're going to hear a lot of what Jimmy Carter would have wanted and what Jimmy Carter thought of Trump and all of this crap. It's going to be non-stop. It's already starting, but after, starting January 2nd is when it's really going to start. I think that, did they say that his state funeral is going to be on January 9th? or a lie in state on January 9th. I can't recall. I have to look that up. I was reading an article about it this morning. But it's going to be the month of Jimmy Carter. Worst president. I mean, he really was. I mean, Biden's worse because we're living through it right now. But Jimmy Carter's legacy is responsible for the lives of tens of millions being destroyed. And it's ongoing. He's just a terrible, terrible president. Just a terrible president. But you're not going to hear that too much in the media. They're going to be praising him. I hope some conservatives put everything in proper perspective. But when they heard President Carter died yesterday, the media and the Democrats and the Never Trumpers, remember, never let a good crisis go to waste, Rahm Emanuel. They were like, oh, great, we can use this. They're always scheming to try to find some way to stop Trump, slow Trump down, get at Trump, turn the people against Trump. When are they going to get it that none of their schemes have worked? Or, well, if any of their schemes worked, he wouldn't be president again. They'll never learn. They're going to be disrespecting President Trump every second of every day. That's one of the reasons it's so important for MAGA to support Trump every step of the way. He's got enough people being critical of him. He's got enough people criticizing him and all of this and disagreeing with him. He doesn't need MAGA people doing that. Somebody left me a message on, might have been YouTube, but could have been on X. I can't remember, but they said to me, MAGA's not Trump. MAGA's bigger than Trump. You're just an idol worshiper, not MAGA. Trump is MAGA, okay? MAGA will go on after his second term, but Trump is MAGA. I mean, and when I've heard several people say that over the weekend on social media. Oh, MAGA's bigger than Trump. You shouldn't worship him, just because Trump says it doesn't mean it's MAGA. Are you kidding me? I don't know if these people are just stupid or if they're never Trumpers that are fake MAGA that are saying something. They're trying to tell us that MAGA is separate from Trump, that Trump's not MAGA. I don't think so. Right? I mean, it's just it blows my mind, some of the nonsense that I hear from these Never Trumpers that are just in a panic. Listen, let them panic. Let them panic. Trump's got the people behind him. That's it. Oh, boy, I cannot believe 2025. These years, they get 2025. I feel like I'm living in the future because when I was growing up, all the science fiction shows took place like a lot of them before this, right? Back to the Future 2 was, 2015, 10 years ago? Buck Rogers left Earth in the year 1987. The Robinson family in Lost in Space left Earth in 1990-something. I can't remember which year. I mean, we're beyond, so we're beyond all this stuff. There was a show on, remember UFO? It took place in 1980. Oh, my goodness. So we are, remember Space 1999? We're so many years, we're a quarter century beyond, even more than a lot of these science fiction shows. So, I'm not in a flying car, but I'll tell you, the tech in this car is pretty advanced, more advanced than I ever imagined having in a car, even though it doesn't fly. I mean, we're approaching freaking Blade Runner time, right? What year did Blade Runner take place in? Like, this is an example. Alexa, what year did the movie Blade Runner take place in?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, the movie Blade Runner was released in 1982.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that's when the movie came out. When did it take place? Well, I got the advanced tech, but it's still buggy, right? Alexa, what year did the novel Blade Runner take place in? Oh, it wasn't a novel. It was a short story.
The novel Blade Runner takes place in the year 2021.
There you go.
The story is
Alexa, stop.
dystopian.
It was a short story written by Philip K. Dick called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? That was the name of the short story that they turned into Blade Runner. So the original story that the movie Blade Runner was based on took place in 2021. Holy smokes. That's crazy. We're living in the future, man. We're living in the future. And the future is MAGA. The Trump miracle. I mean, the re-election of President Trump is just amazing. Every time I think about it, I just got goosebumps now. Inauguration Day should be a freaking holiday. I mean, how can anybody get any work done on Inauguration Day for President Trump, right? I know I'll be watching it. Will you be watching it? Absolutely. '25 most definitely is the year of Trump and the year of MAGA. I mean, this is going to be bigger than the first term. I mean, Trump is so well organized now. Things happen so fast in the first campaign, and you really see over these last few years of being out of office how Trump has regrouped and planned so much of what he's going to do. That's why these people he's picked are so perfect. When's the last time you heard anybody in the media say anything about Pete Hegseth, right? They gave up on that. Pete Hegseth beat him. Now, they still have the confirmation hearings. But I don't know. The controversies seem to have gone away. We may get some recess appointments with Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi. The confirmation hearings really do a disservice. They undermine whoever it is, whether it's a cabinet member or a Supreme Court justice. They're so undermined by the whole process. But, you look at what Pete Hegseth's going to do. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, imagine the day that President Trump fires all these woke generals and admirals. Think about what will the media do that day? They're gonna be melting down. They were having meltdowns when he fired Comey. That was just one guy. You know, he fires these woke generals and admirals. They're gonna be talking about impeaching again. Well, Truman fired General MacArthur, and there's nobody in the military as distinguished as General MacArthur was, and he got fired. I mean, there's I don't know how many actions like that will be taken by the second Trump administration. I haven't written a list, but everything President Trump is doing is just huge. There's nothing small that President Trump is taking on in this second term. Nothing. It's all big, massive, huge stuff. Without a doubt, isn't it? It's beautiful. Now, guys, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I live stream every day if you're new. I host a morning drive radio show that's on a whole bunch of FM radio stations. That's where I'm heading now, the radio station. And that's my next stream that has Jimmy Carter and President Trump in the thumbnail. And I live stream when I'm on the radio. So on that, when I'm on the air, which will be in an hour, 6 a.m. Eastern time, I take live calls. There's a toll-free number. It's in that chat there. So when I end this stream, which I'm about to do because I'm at my destination almost, you can hop over there and continue to chat because that chat's going. And I'll be taking live calls on that stream. Oh, and this is a holiday week, but I am working all week. So I will be live even on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I don't know how many of you will be working on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, but I will. I'll be on the air all week and the weekend too. I'm taking a couple days off in January to go visit my daughter in Los Angeles, so I'm going to work straight through these holidays since I'm taking a couple days off in January to go see my daughter in California. All right, guys, well, I've gotten to my destination. Thanks for watching. Again, make sure you subscribe. If you're already subbed, like the video. If you don't mind sharing, I'd appreciate that too. And I'll see you. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.